Hello and welcome back to the When You're podcast, the podcast for when you're doing anything. Today we're going to be talking about when you're watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This movie, I have to admit, I was not excited to watch because unfortunately, one of my favorite, let me start off by saying it is an absolute tragedy to lose Chadwick Boseman. He was so perfect for the role. He was literally perfect. Like if there was any person that was perfect for a role like Robert Downey Jr. for Iron Man, it was Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. It was so perfect. Just an amazing actor, an amazing person, not just on the screen but off the screen as well. And it just broke my heart to see him on screen, but also to miss him. You know, throughout the movie, his presence was definitely felt, but it was also really missed. Like there was something just missing about it. You know, I feel like had he been in the movie, it would have felt completely different. It would have felt so. It would have been a different movie, essentially. Having said that, after watching the film and accepting it for what it is, not what I personally wanted it to be or what I wanted certain characters to go through. Because for the longest time, I was beating, Marvel's head with a stick about recasting him because I felt like his character wasn't finished. I felt like there was so much more to his character than that needed to be completed, that needed to be done, and that wasn't finished or accomplished. And it just didn't feel right to kind of kill off the character. It felt very wrong to, snap him away for 5 years and then for him to come back and not, be a part of this world anymore felt like a big loss. And I was like, they have to recast him. He already laid out all the groundwork. All you have to do is just copy him. It wouldn't be that difficult to find another talented black young actor who can fill in for his steps. But in the grand scheme of things, recasting him just didn't. I don't think it would have done him justice. I don't think it would have done. It just would have been very weird to recast him. And it felt very weird to not have him as well. So everything shifted. Everything felt off. But I have to say, carrying on what he stood for and what kind of Wakanda was and what the Black Panther stance, or not stance, what am I talking about? The Black Panther is as a symbol meant a lot. And I think they do a great job. Ryan Coogler, oh my goodness, is an amazing director with the story, with how he fit everything together to be kind of a good send-off, a proper goodbye, and also being kind of like a mournful period, And I feel like the movie really focused on that, on so much loss. Because there's been so many people in the MCU that have felt great loss, that kind of what drives them to be heroes, what drives them to be good people, to fight the good fight, to continue to do good in the world. And more and more you see that like people lose everything. They lose the people that they love. They get so much taken from them. And then they kind of have to move on, and they have to find something else out there. And in finding that something else, they make new friendships and they make new people. And by being in the world and interacting with the world, they're able to become this new version of themselves, a better version of themselves, or try to find some sort of new normalcy, It'll never take away the pain of those that they lost, but it will also keep them in our memories by doing good and carrying on what they stood for. And I felt like that movie did a great job with this. I felt like so much care was taken with T'Challa as a character, and I'm just really sad to see it go. But I'm happy with what we got in the end. I'm really happy with this movie for what it was given to me, for what it is, and going forward, how it's going to continue to become bigger and better and better. I have to start off by saying a big spoiler alert, spoiler warning. This is going to contain a lot of spoilers for the movie. So I want to start off by talking about the speech at the UN, or, they had this big council meeting, and Angela Bassett's character, the Queen, was kind of talking about how everybody is whispering now that T'Challa's dead, the king is dead, that Wakanda is weak, and then you see the Dora Milaje fighting off the French invaders and everybody coming in, trying to take vibranium. But they're not able to because they are strong. Wakanda is strong, and then they capture them, they put them in the middle of the room, and they go like, they know they're French. They know they captured them, and it was kind of like, I thought that was such a beautiful, there's so many great moments in this movie, but I felt like that was really powerful, the way that they kind of stood there and they told them, we know what you guys are talking about. If you guys think we're weak, we're not, and you will be met with violence next time. This is a warning, And it felt so good, and it also kind of showed how much we want to. When somebody has something good, everybody wants it. They have vibranium. It's only natural that the rest of the world, like the United States, France, all over the world, they want what they have because it's so valuable and, as they call, destructive. And they feel like it's very natural to like want that, not necessarily have it for themselves. It's what they and what they want. They always try and they get. And I feel like there was such a good moment where they're kind of having a council meeting between all of the tribes, all of the people, and they were trying to discuss this way of like, because essentially the whole plot of the movie is following the Wakandans trying to protect vibranium and the rest of the world trying to find vibranium. And the Americans, they find vibranium underwater in the sea. And they go to investigate it, and they get met with, essentially they get killed, right? A bunch of people get killed there in the ocean. And they believe it to be the Wakandans, but it's not the Wakandans. It's this whole other thing led by this man named Namor. For the life of me, I cannot remember exactly what they're called. The Tolkiens or something like that. I think that's the name of the city, not the actual people. But essentially, it's just this underwater people, led by Namor. And they kill them because they don't want to be known to the world. And they were in the water where they could be found, in their borders. So they killed off the Americans, and people think that it was Wakanda that did it. And it wasn't. So the next logical step was to figure out who made the machine that can detect vibranium. Because in order to find the vibranium underwater, they had a metal detector that could find the vibranium. And there was this really smart girl named Riri Williams in the movie. And they find her, the Wakandans, Shuri and Okoye, go to find her. And throughout that whole scene, I was just kind of like, okay, I had already seen like kind of like the idea that she was this Ironheart girl. And I was kind of like, all right, let's see if I can get on board with her. And she's very funny. I thought she did a very good job in the film. I feel like they gave us just the right amount and it didn't feel like too much like she was trying to like carry on the Iron Man legacy. It just felt like really quick blip, But I don't know how I feel about her per se, but I do like that she's really smart. I like that she somewhat contributed. I don't know. It felt very off. Felt very weird, but anyways, they find her. Namor wants to have her killed. Shuri doesn't, so they meet with conflict, and in the end, Shuri and the girl get kidnapped, and Okoye gets her Dora Milaje rank as general stripped down from her, and there was such a powerful moment between Okoye and the Queen, where they both delivered such amazing performances. It felt very real, and it didn't feel like they were. It literally felt like I was watching them as characters right there, then and there, not two actors going reading lines. I felt like I was in the room when that happened. I feel like I was there, and I felt so much for both of them. I felt like the Queen had every right to be mad, and that it's only, when you fail that badly, how likely are you to, do that to anyone else? But then it also feels like what Okoye was saying was that she needs to have a right. She needs to do something good. And she has been very loyal to the throne, to those who live there, to her country. And it was just one of those moments where you just kind of like sit there in awe of the wonderful actors on screen that just, I gotta tell you, the women in this movie, they were dynamic, they were powerful, and they had such a great way of showing many emotions in subtle and big ways. And I feel like the strength that they showed in this movie is going to carry on to not just women, but to everybody. I felt a great strength from them as well. And it was also in that moment that you kind of, when Shuri gets kidnapped, we see Namor's world. We see the underwater kingdom that he rules over, what the people think of him, how he's technically a god of some sort, a mutant, he says. He's a mutant. Like, that was crazy that he said those words. I don't think that word has ever been said in the MCU, which was really, really crazy. But I liked seeing, the underwater world. It did feel a little weird because, like, they're humans underwater and they moved kind of like slowly. You would think they would move a lot faster, but they seemed, everything seemed to work just great. What I liked about Namor was kind of the ankle wings. That was kind of like, because at first I was like, hold on, he just flies? Like, that's crazy. That's a little bit weird, but I kind of got used to the ankle on the wings thing. Wings on the ankles. I was kind of like, it's a little goofy at first, but I was like, it's kind of like Hermes, no? It kind of has that vibe to it, and I did like it. I thought it was really cool. I also kind of understood his motivations. I kind of didn't. I feel like to wage war on the entirety of the land when his mother loved the surface world so much that she mourned it, that she was like, I love this place so much, I want to be buried there. And then him finding, obviously terrible slavery of people and just like crazy stuff. It is difficult, and I can understand his hatred for the surface world, but it's also like he wasn't there to see the progression, where, first of all, that never should have happened, slavery or any of that stuff, but it's like, because he hated it right then and there, he couldn't see the overall growth of the world. But then again, you have to think with how we treat the ocean. We have like oil, we throw trash in the ocean. We treat the ocean like it's nothing. And it really is something that we have to treat with respect. The whole environment. But, for Namor, you can understand why the water is precious to him. That land, that world, those people, they mean so much to him. And that's where I can really sympathize and really get behind him, is that, like, the world that his mom once knew was gone. And the world that he lives in now is one that he just is like, I need to change this into something that my mom would love, because we keep waging war. We keep on hurting people that are all the same and who don't deserve to be treated unfairly, but we do, and you kind of understand those motivations. And it's also in that time that something has to stand up against him. Something has to push back. And throughout the scene with Shuri and Namor, where they kind of talk about what he wants, it's not just about the girl, Riri Williams. It's about the whole world. It's about creating a world that he wants and that he likes. And then Shuri's like, well, that's not going to happen. That's not what I want. And there's good people on the surface land that I don't want dead. So we're going to push back. You're not going to get a chance to stop us. And that's when the invasion happens. And the invasion happens so quick. And that's how they're able to knock them off guard. That's how they're able to beat them, that quickly. And in a stunning turn of events, they kill the Queen. They kill Angela Bassett. And man, I feel like 2 deaths in this movie were great. It was nuts. It was really, really crazy. But for the progression of Shuri, to really push her into that leadership role or into that next decisive place, they had to do it. They had to go there. They had to give her something to really hate him for. And that was that moment. And you hate to see it. It was really difficult to watch that moment happen, but it did make sense because we were always going to lean on, I guess on the Queen. We were always going to lean on her, and then it was always going to be, not that there's anything wrong with that. I thought that she was really, really good in her role. And I feel like she kind of went by too soon, but passing on passing on your legacy to somebody else is definitely important. And I definitely like the idea that was behind it. And it really sets up who Shuri wants to be, what she feels, and what is necessary to push her into the next stage of her life, which is becoming a leader, becoming somebody that everybody looks to for strength, for protection. And that's why her becoming the new Black Panther was crazy. It was really, it was wild, but it was earned. She had to make the heart-shaped herb, and it was only during that moment when she was really dedicated to doing something that she was able to find this way of becoming the Black Panther. And when she took the heart-shaped herb in to become the Black Panther, and then she woke up in the astral plane or whatever it's called, I'm fully expecting to see, King T'Chaka. I'm expecting her to see her mom, those two specifically, not anybody else. I was expecting her to see those two. And when the throne turned to guess who, Michael B. Jordan, Killmonger, shows up. And you're just like, what? Where is this coming from? And then they have that talk. They have that real talk. That real moment of who are you? What are you going to do? What are you standing for? You didn't believe in certain things, What do you believe in? What are you going to stand for as the Black Panther? And I think that was such not a weird choice. I feel like it was such a, no, this is the truth. I feel like it was such a strong choice, and it caught me completely off guard, that it made it feel a little weird to me. But he brought up a lot of great points about becoming Black Panther, about being a leader, about being somebody who can enact change. Because with him, he wanted to change the world. He wanted to help people who needed it, like he needed it. He wanted to kind of get rid of the hypocrisy that Wakanda has. And he was trying to push that into Shuri. But Shuri is really kind-hearted. She learned from her mom, her dad, her brother, that you could be so much more and not just vengeance. You don't have to seek death of another in order to become healed, to become better. Now, did I want Namor dead? Sure, that would have made things a lot easier, but the fact that she doesn't and she shows him mercy is a really big step, and I thoroughly enjoyed that whole fight scene that they had. She got stabbed. Namor did not hold back, and she also delivered some great scratches and punches and blows. And that explosion when she goes Wakanda Forever, boom, that was nuts. That was really cool. I feel her mercy is what allows Namor to kind of be humbled and be like, okay, it's over. We're done. And then moving forward, we kind of see what his real intentions are. He knows the rest of the world is evil. The rest of the world is bad. And we see that in Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, which, I'm not a big fan of. But she's very smart. She's very good. But she's, who knows what her true motives are or what she's going to do. But she definitely wants vibranium. She definitely wants to fight the Wakandans. And she's going to get a lot of people on her side. And Namor knows this. He knows that the rest of the world is going to want Wakanda. And when they do, the Wakandans are going to turn to Namor. And what is Namor going to do? He's going to wage war on the surface world. And it's only then that things are going to get much bigger and crazier. And there's going to have to be some sort of final conclusion to Namor to either become a good guy, to become a hero, and to do what's right, or for him to eventually die. For him to die off, and nobody will be able to, fight against the surface world, because it's just like, or live in peace together, Now, at the end of the movie, we see a lot of things coming to a close. We come to a conclusion with Riri Williams, which is like, all right, whatever, go away. And not that we see a conclusion to Shuri, but it's more of like we see a conclusion to this mourning period. It's over. We've let all of our grievances out. We let out all of the tears that we can shed out. And now we can move on to something new, something better, something that we can grow from and become better from it. And they introduced a new young character who, you have to watch it for yourself. I did say spoilers before this, didn't I? Yes, I think I did, but I think it was really sweet that they did that, and that they were able to introduce that character at the end. And I also liked King M'Baku, huh? Right? Man, that was so cool to, that you think they're going to have that big ceremony where Shuri is going to show up and she's going to, accept the throne as the new king or whatever. And you see M'Baku come out and he's like, it's challenge day. I'm here. Where's everybody at? And I like it. I like M'Baku being king of Wakanda, and I like Shuri being the Black Panther. I feel like that really works well, because M'Baku really had some great moments in this movie of wisdom, of compassion and caring, of love for Wakanda and the people of it, for protection, for guidance, for good input and he really showed through in this movie more than just his physical strength. You know, he is very powerful, and he's a great ally, and he has a great love for Wakanda, and he has a great love for the people in it, and I feel like it makes him perfect to be king. And I think it fits for him, his character, really well, and in the future going forward. And I also like Shuri being the Black Panther. I think she has so much to live up to, and she has so much to carry, but this movie showed that she's capable of fighting. She's capable of going to do whatever she feels is right, whether it's kind of risky or not. I did like it. So overall, I give this movie like an 8 out of 10. It was really, really good. Don't know if I would watch it again. It's pretty sad, but you know, we'll wait for it to release on Blu-ray or digital and stuff, and we'll get it then. We'll rewatch it then. So many good moments in this movie, and going forward, I'm excited to see what more they do. So yeah, that was my experience watching Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. You should definitely go watch it for yourself. It has amazing moments, and appreciate, you know, all of the people who came for this movie, all of the people who worked on this movie, because it just feels like such a great piece of work that shouldn't, you know, be held back or feel like hated on just because they didn't give you a certain recasting of a character. You know, because that's definitely what I wanted, but they didn't go that way, and I like what I got at the end. So thank you all for listening. I will see you guys all next time. Thank you.